Okay, so today we started with page 17. We wrote the title, Intensive and Extensive Physical Properties, and the EQ, How do I identify intensive and extensive physical properties? So go ahead and pause the video and record that on your notebook. We are going to start with a flow chart that is a review. So this goes on page 17 as well underneath your essential question. You can either do this vertically or horizontally. We're starting with a review of what we've already talked about, and then we are going to move to the new stuff for today. So we start with, at the top of your paper, the question, is this something we are actually doing, an action? So are we actually doing this right now? If the answer is yes, we call that a change. If the answer is no, we call that a property. Then we can further break these down between changes and properties into either chemical or physical. And we ask ourselves the question, we're gonna start on the change side. So on the change side, if I actually were to do this, will it create a new substance? If the answer is no, then it's a physical change. If the answer is yes, then it is a chemical change. We can do the same thing with properties. If I actually do this, will it create a new substance? If the answer is no, it's physical. And if it's yes, it's chemical. I know I'm going fast. You can pause as you need to, guys. So now our physical properties, we can then break down into two further properties. We can get a little more specific. What kind of physical property is it? So the next question we would ask ourselves, once we know that it's a physical property, we can ask, does the amount matter? If I cut it in half, is this going to change? Okay? If the answer is no, for example, my shirt today was purple. If I cut my shirt in half, it's still purple. Cut it in half again, still purple. That is called an intensive property. The amount doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much I have of it. It's always going to be purple. Okay? If the amount does matter, so for example, let's say I weighed my shirt and then I cut it in half. Well, each half is going to weigh less than the half before. So that does matter. So weight would be an extensive physical property. Okay? Some other examples of intensive physical properties would be melting point. Water always melts at 0 degrees Celsius. It doesn't matter if you have a little water or a lot of water. It's always going to melt at the same temperature. Same with boiling point. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Doesn't matter if you have a small pot or a big pot. It's always going to have to get to 100 degrees Celsius. Density, the relationship between mass and volume, which is interesting because mass and volume you're going to see are extensive properties, but density is a calculated value, and that doesn't change. Color and luster, those are all intensive. Amount doesn't matter. Extensive properties are usually going to be things that you've directly measured. Mass, length, area, volume, size, and shape. Because if I cut something in half, it's not going to be as long as it was before. If I cut something in half, it's not going to have the same volume. It's not going to take up as much space. So those are our examples. These were the notes from today.